Artificial photosynthesis is a chemical process that replicates the natural process of photosynthesis, a process that converts sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into carbohydrates and oxygen. The term artificial photosynthesis is commonly used to refer to any scheme for capturing and storing the energy from sunlight in the chemical bonds of a fuel. Photocatalytic water splitting converts water into hydrogen ions and oxygen, and is a main research area in artificial photosynthesis. Light-driven carbon dioxide reduction is another studied process that replicates natural carbon fixation. Research developed in this field encompasses the design and assembly of devices for the direct production of solar fuels, photoelectrochemistry and its application in fuel cells, and the engineering of enzymes and photoautotrophic microorganisms for microbial biofuel and biohydrogen production from sunlight. Many, if not most, of the artificial approaches to artificial photosynthesis are bio-inspired, i.e., they rely on biomimetics. Overview. The photosynthetic reaction can be divided into two half reactions of oxidation and reduction, both of which are essential to producing fuel. In plant photosynthesis, water molecules are photooxidized to release oxygen and protons. The second stage of plant photosynthesis is a light-independent reaction that converts carbon dioxide into glucose. Researchers of artificial photosynthesis are developing photocatalysts that are able to perform both of these reactions. Furthermore, the protons resulting from water splitting can be used for hydrogen production. These catalysts must be able to react quickly and absorb a large percentage of the incident solar photons, whereas photovoltaics can provide energy directly from sunlight. The inefficiency of fuel production from photovoltaic electricity and the fact that sunshine is not constant throughout the day sets a limit to its use. One way of using natural photosynthesis is via the production of a biofuel, which is an indirect process that suffers from low energy conversion efficiency, the cost of harvesting and transporting the fuel, and clashes with the increasing need of landmass for food production. Artificial photosynthesis aims then to produce a fuel from sunlight that can be conveniently stored and used when sunlight is not available. By using direct processes, that is, to produce a solar fuel, with the development of catalysts able to reproduce the key steps of photosynthesis, water and sunlight would ultimately be the only needed sources for clean energy production. The only byproduct would be oxygen, and production of a solar fuel has the potential to be cheaper than gasoline. One process for the creation of a clean and affordable energy supply is the development of photocatalytic water splitting under solar light. This method of sustainable hydrogen production is a key objective in the development of alternative energy systems. It is also predicted to be one of the more, if not the most, efficient ways of obtaining hydrogen from water. The conversion of solar energy into hydrogen via a water-splitting process assisted by photosemiconductor catalysts is one of the most promising technologies in development. This process has the potential for large quantities of hydrogen to be generated in an ecologically sound manner. The conversion of solar energy into a clean fuel under ambient conditions is one of the greatest challenges facing scientists in the 21st century. Two approaches are generally recognized in the construction of solar fuel cells for hydrogen production. A homogeneous system is one where catalysts are not compartmentalized, that is, components are present in the same compartment. This means that hydrogen and oxygen are produced in the same location. This can be a drawback, since they compose an explosive mixture, demanding gas product separation. Also, all components must be active in approximately the same conditions. A heterogeneous system has two separate electrodes, an anode and a cathode, making possible the separation of oxygen and hydrogen production. Furthermore, different components do not necessarily need to work in the same conditions. However, the increased complexity of these systems makes them harder to develop and more expensive. Another area of research within artificial photosynthesis is the selection and manipulation of photosynthetic microorganisms, namely green microalgae and cyanobacteria, for the production of solar fuels. Many strains are able to produce hydrogen naturally, and scientists are working to improve them. Algae biofuels such as butanol and methanol are produced both at laboratory and commercial scales. This approach has benefited from the development of synthetic biology, which is also being explored by the J. Craig Venter Institute to produce a synthetic organism capable of biofuel production. History. The artificial photosynthesis was first anticipated by the Italian chemist Giacomo Ciamician in 1912. In a lecture that was later published in Science, he proposed a switch from the use of fossil fuels to radiant energy provided by the sun and captured by technical photochemistry devices. In this switch he saw a possibility to close the gap between the rich north and poor south, and ventured a guess that this switch from coal to solar energy would not be harmful to the progress and to human happiness. In the late 60s, Akira Fujishima discovered the photocatalytic properties of titanium dioxide, the so-called Honda-Fujishima effect, which could be used for hydrolysis. The Swedish Consortium for Artificial Photosynthesis, the first of its kind, was established in 1994 as a collaboration between groups of 3 different universities, Lund, Uppsala and Stockholm. Being presently active around London, the Angstrom laboratories in Uppsala. The consortium was built with a multidisciplinary approach to focus on learning from natural photosynthesis and applying this knowledge in biomimetic systems. Research into artificial photosynthesis is undergoing a boom at the beginning of the 21st century. In 2000, Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization researchers publicized their intent to focus on carbon dioxide capture and its conversion to hydrocarbons. In 2003, the Brookhaven National Laboratory announced the discovery of an important intermediate step in the reduction of CO2 to CO, which could lead to better catalysts. One of the drawbacks of artificial systems for water-splitting catalysts is their general reliance on scarce, expensive elements, such as ruthenium or rhenium. In 2008, with the funding of the United States Air Force Office of Scientific Research, MIT chemist and head of the Solar Evolution Project Daniel G. Nacera and postdoctoral fellow Matthew Kainan attempted to circumvent this issue by using a catalyst containing the cheaper and more abundant elements, cobalt and phosphate. The catalyst was able to split water into oxygen and protons using sunlight, and could potentially be coupled to a hydrogen gas-producing catalyst such as platinum. Furthermore, while the catalyst broke down during catalysis, it could self-repair. This experimental catalyst design was considered a major breakthrough in the field by many researchers. Whereas CO is the prime reduction product of CO2, more complex carbon compounds are usually desired. In 2008, Andrew B. Bocarsley reported the direct conversion of carbon dioxide and water to methanol using solar energy in a highly efficient photochemical cell, while Nacera and co-workers had accomplished water splitting to oxygen and protons. A light-driven process to produce hydrogen is desirable. In 2009, the Leibniz Institute for Catalysis reported inexpensive iron-carbonyl complexes able to do just that. In the same year, researchers at the University of East Anglia also used iron-carbonyl compounds to achieve photoelectrochemical hydrogen production with 60% efficiency, this time using a gold electrode covered with layers of indium phosphide to which the iron complexes were linked. Both of these processes used a molecular approach, where discrete nanoparticles are responsible for catalysis. Visible light water splitting with a one-piece multi-junction cell was first demonstrated and patented by William Ayres at Energy Conversion Devices in 1983. This group demonstrated water photolysis into hydrogen and oxygen, now referred to as an artificial leaf or wireless solar water splitting, with a low-cost, thin-film amorphous silicon multi-junction cell directly immersed in water. Hydrogen evolved on the front amorphous silicon surface decorated with various catalysts, while oxygen evolved from the back metal substrate, which also eliminated the hazard of mixed hydrogen-oxygen gas evolution. A naphtha membrane above the immersed cell provided a path for proton transport. The higher photovoltage available from the multi-junction thin-film cell with visible light was a major advance over previous photolysis attempts with UV-sensitive single-junction cells. The group's patent also lists several other semiconductor multi-junction compositions in addition to amorphous silicon. In 2009, Del-Valle and K. Doman showed the impact of the thermal treatment in a closed atmosphere using CD1XZ-NXS photocatalysts. CD1XZ-NXS solid solution reports high activity in hydrogen production from water splitting under sunlight irradiation. A mixed heterogeneous, molecular approach by researchers at the University of California, Santa Cruz, in 2010, using both nitrogen-doped and cadmium selenide quantum dots sensitized titanium dioxide nanoparticles and nanowires, also yielded photo-produced hydrogen. Artificial photosynthesis remained an academic field for many years. However, in the beginning of 2009, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings was reported to be developing its own artificial photosynthesis research by using sunlight, water and carbon dioxide to create the carbon building blocks from which resins, plastics and fibers can be synthesized. This was confirmed with the establishment of the KAITEKI Institute later that year, with carbon dioxide reduction through artificial photosynthesis as one of the main goals. In 2010, the DOE established, as one of its energy innovation hubs, the Joint Center for Artificial Photosynthesis. The mission of JCAP is to find a cost-effective method to produce fuels using only sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide as inputs. JCAP is led by a team from Caltech, led by Professor Nathan Lewis, and brings together more than 120 scientists and engineers from Caltech and its lead partner, Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. JCAP also draws on the expertise and capabilities of key partners from Stanford University, the University of California at Berkeley, UCSB, UCI, and UCSD, and the Stanford Linear Accelerator. In addition, JCAP serves as a central hub for other solar fuels research teams across the United States, including 20 DOE Energy Frontier Research Center. The program has a budget of $122 million over 5 years, subject to congressional appropriation. Also in 2010, a team led by Professor David Wendell at the University of Cincinnati successfully demonstrated photosynthesis in an artificial construct consisting of enzymes suspended in a foam housing. In 2011, Daniel Nocera and his research team announced the creation of the first practical artificial leaf. In a speech at the 241st National Meeting of the American Chemical Society, Nocera described an advanced solar cell the size of a poker card capable of splitting water into oxygen and hydrogen, approximately 10 times more efficient than natural photosynthesis. The cell is mostly made of inexpensive materials that are widely available, works under simple conditions, and shows increased stability over previous catalysts. In laboratory studies, the authors demonstrated that an artificial leaf prototype could operate continuously for at least 45 hours without a drop in activity. In May 2012, Sun Catalytics, the startup based on Nocera's research, stated that it will not be scaling up the prototype as the device offers few savings over other ways to make hydrogen from sunlight. Leading experts in the field have supported a proposal for a global project on artificial photosynthesis as a combined energy security and climate change solution.